what affects our behavior as adults as a result of childhood experiences and parenting. If you are a parent or you are aspiring to be a parent, there is a combination of many factors that affect how we behave. We behave the way we do because of, number one, our genetic makeup. Number two, the environment in which we grow. And number three, the contribution of our parents or our guardians. Genetic makeup is what you carry from your parents. Secondly, our behavior is shaped by the environment in which we grow. The best example is for the identical twins. If both of them are brought up in different environments, the environments will shape the way they behave. They will behave differently. The third and very important contribution is on parenting. I would love to engage more about parenting. As parents, we may not have control on the genetic makeup of our children, but we have a lot of influence and control on the environment and the value system that we pass to our children. Why should we take parenting very seriously and plan for it just like we plan our work? It is a very important factor. 3 reasons why we have to put the best foot forward when it comes to parenting our children. Number 1, you will not blame yourself. First and foremost, as a parent, you will be confident to remind them, this is what I had previously cautioned you about, and this is the best way to go. The Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he is old, he shall not depart from it. The second reason, your child has a reference point. They have something they can fall back to. Number 3, they may not blame you. The documentary that was done by Citizen TV on the guns galore, one of the young men who testified about his life in crime said that one time he stole 20,000 Kenya shillings from somewhere and went to school with that money when he was in primary school. And then when the teachers saw him with the money and they called his mom, she lied and said that this is my money, my son just carried it, but I am aware of the situation. So the son was blaming his mother for not warning or cautioning him about the behavior of stealing. So later on, he continued with stealing and left school and became a hardcore criminal. He looks back, he would trace and say, if his mother warned him and cautioned him, or even disciplined him for stealing that money, then he would not have taken that direction. Parenting contributes a lot in the behavior that we acquire or in the value system that we acquire as we continue to grow. So we have to be careful as parents. We have to put the best foot forward when it comes to parenting our children. It is very sensible to say that we have no time for our children because we are busy working, trying to earn a living, to get them something to eat. It makes sense, it is true. But parenting calls for a balance. We may make the money out there, we may be out there working very hard and bringing them the best of items and material things that we may think they want. But the best that the children want is us. We can be out there working hard to give them the best food, the best schooling, the best life, the best housing, but we fail to give the best of ourselves to raise our children. There is time to earn a living. There is time also that we have to give the best of ourselves to our children. The very important question you have to ask yourself as a parent: are my children getting the best of me or the rest of me? Are your children getting the best of you or the rest of you? The best of you is where you create quality time to be with your children, to have time with them, to talk to them, to listen to them, to train them, instruct them, to guide them, to advise them, to give them wisdom, to give them counsel, to give them warmth, to give them a sense of security, to give them attention, to give them love, to pamper them, to appreciate them, to talk to them, and to be the best that you can as a parent. That is the best of you. The rest of you is when you come home extremely exhausted, extremely fatigued. You have no time for your children. You have no time to listen to them. You have no time to hear their stories. You have no time to play with them. So the only thing you are doing is to ask them whether they have eaten, whether they have done their homework, how their day was, and very quickly they go to sleep. That is giving the rest of yourself to your children. These things will continue to affect them as they grow, and that's why later on in their lives they will behave very differently, because it is a journey, bearing in mind that what affects our behavior is our genetic makeup, the environment in which we grow, and also the contribution of parents or guardians. The bigger weight is on parenting, the environment, and the genetic makeup is what we may not change. So what made me get concerned and to take parenting seriously is the example that I gave previously of this young man who got into crime, and the first time he stole 20,000 Kenya shillings. When teachers saw him with the money, upon calling the mom to this young man, the mom protected and covered the son and lied to the teachers that the money belonged to her. So the mom did not warn this young man or discipline him. We have a lot to contribute to the value system of our children, the behavior of our children. We have a serious contribution. We may not do it perfectly, we may not be perfect, but we contribute a lot as parents in terms of the behavior and the value system that we pass on to our children. We affect also the environment in which they grow by choosing who they interact with, the playmates and the like. We have a contribution. We may not do it perfectly, but we can influence, we can guide, we can train, we can instruct, we can advise, we can give counsel, and influence the environment in which our children find themselves in. One young man whose parents were very busy as lecturers, they were doing lectures in so many universities across the country, and they never had good time with this young man when he was growing up. So in the process of growing up, he joined bad company of guys who were doing drugs, and sometimes he would go home at night totally drunk and high on drugs. He would force his father to wake up and warm food for him. He would wake up and give him food. Of course, this was like paying back time for the time that he had not spent with him, because the young man would say, "You are not there for me when I needed you most. You are not there for me to guide me as a man when I needed you most." Whichever time his father would try to talk to him, the young man would be like, "You are never there for me when I needed you most. You are never available to guide me as a man on how to behave." So in the process, I found other men who taught me how I should behave. I know it is not right, but you were not available for me as a father to instruct me, to guide me, to train me, to be a role model, to be an example to me. And as a parent, even as we discuss this, do not feel yourself judged, because we've said that parenting is not the only factor that contributes to the behavior of our children, but is a mixture of many factors. But parenting contributes highly in the way we behave as we grow up and even as adults. The best we should do as parents is to give our best, so that as your children grow, they'll have a reference point. You will not blame yourself, and they will also not blame you in case they go astray. But they can have a reference point that may bring them back